Jimmy Cabs here, 5150 interview series. Today, this is I'm very excited to talk to these these young gentlemen here. Let me start over. I just fucked that up. All right, 5150, Jimmy Cabs here. Looking forward to talking to these gentlemen. What can I say that hasn't already been said by yours truly and by the underground? For over 3 decades, going on 4 decades. There's been a band from Southeast Los Angeles that has grown in the underground strictly by doing it on their own. What I mean by that, their own integrity, their own determination, their own sense of what they want to achieve, and they have globally been successful in the underground. Let me introduce Rick and Bay Cortez of Sadistic Intent. How you doing, guys?
What's going on?
What's up, Jimmy?
Very proud of you guys. Where do we begin? You guys have been touring the world, going to remote locations in the world. You just got back, correct me if I'm wrong, from Portugal and Brazil, correct?
Right.
Tu fala português muito bom? You pick up any Portuguese out there?
No.
Let me just say, let me just say this. I've always been impressed with how your band and how your legacy and how you two have been able to be successful strictly by following the underground DIY mantra of doing it on your own and sticking to your own balls and your own guts and what you believe and not following any trends of any kind. And the fact that you've built such a global loyal fan base, that right there in itself is success, if I can't say that any more than that. But how does that make you guys feel after almost 4 decades now?
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, by the way, we also did Chicago this year, which was also killer too. It was a festival out there. Yeah, something I think that I'm proud of is that we never abandoned ship on metal when things got tough. If you remember the '90s, a lot of bands started, breaking up, or they're trying to fit in with the trendy new styles coming into the scene, and just going different directions. I can say, I'm not going to mention names, but some of these bands now they're going back. Oh yeah, we're going back to the fucking trying to be the old school again. But we never abandoned ship. We were metal the whole fucking time. When people told us it was dead, oh, what do you guys play this music for? It's not cool no more. And we're like, fuck that. We like it. We didn't give a shit. We're still gonna do our music regardless, and we don't care if we're the last ones. We like what we like. We never abandoned ship. And how many bands broke up? How many bands try to be trendy or change your style, change your whole trip? We never did. So I'm pretty fucking proud of that, to be honest with you. But yeah, and I think, and again, we never had a big label help us. I mean, I'm not against big labels. Okay, I'm not one of these guys who are like, oh, I'm total underground and whatever. It's cool. I like big bands. Nothing wrong with them. But we never had help. So we've been underground literally since the very beginning when we started back in the 80s. And it went beyond, honestly, my memories of back in the beginning. It went way beyond that. I never thought we'd go outside of Los Angeles, to be honest with you.
Like it's something that you don't really think about. It's just all of a sudden, like we're still around, we're still here.
It's like we've again. I mean, the going outside of Los Angeles the first time. I still remember the first time we're on a plane. I'm like, what the fuck? We're on a flight. This is a trip. You know what I mean? You're out there for hours in a plane and shit. And to again, I don't take it for granted. I mean, like you mentioned, we just got back from Portugal recently, and it was fucking killer. And then we did Brazil just like a couple of weeks ago. We're in Brazil, and again, it was killer. We've been somehow the underground has kept us going. It's kept
and it's the fans that go and support that, which makes it all worth it and stuff.
Do you enjoy when you go out to these remote locations and globally, and you run into fans that probably thought you would never be there? Number one, and number two, the fact
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
you are there
definitely.
playing in their presence, is that rewarding
Yeah,
for you?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, sometimes you go to some really areas that it's kind of rare. Like for example, we went to Singapore, and there was I remember some of these guys out there like literally had everything. Like, oh look, I got the 7 inches, I got your just everything. And I was like, what the fuck? This is amazing. Like, no way. Like, I was like, and this guy was like super into the band. And stuff like that. It's very cool. Just last like I said in Brazil, there was people that came from Colombia. Oh, I fucking came to see you guys. And people came from Chile. People came from
China.
yeah, there was people from different countries. Some guys as far as freaking Poland, or what I mean. It was like it's pretty. Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, without their support, we wouldn't be there in the first place. So you got to be thankful to the supporters of the Sadistic Intent. It's really it's been a thanks to them we're still here. That's pretty
So
much.
we appreciate them all.
Yeah.
I think that the fan base that you have and that has grown all these decades is because of the characteristic and the philosophy that you guys follow, which is you're very humble, you're very sincere. Most musicians, especially here in Los Angeles, they're very self-absorbed, narcissistic, and they say they're doing it for the fans, but they don't. But you guys are just very loyal to each other and what you do and your music. Do you think that's the reason why the appeal for the global fan base, or why do you think globally? Because I don't know if you're aware of this. You know that you have fans in Iran. Are you
Oh
aware
shit,
that,
man.
are you aware that you have fans in Israel? Are you aware? I was shocked when I found out that you had fans in the Southeast, especially as you mentioned, Thailand, Singapore, where the government there is very strict. And
Yeah, yeah,
what I mean strict, I don't mean strict like, oh, hey, you're gonna get a ticket. No, like you go to jail, you get hung,
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
whipped, and
Oh yeah.
that's for wearing a blasphemous sadistic intent shirt.
Oh yeah, honestly, like that's something that you kind of brought up some memories. Going back to Singapore,
the plane ticket had it right there. It said automatic death penalty for drug smugglers. So I
Yeah.
was like,
yeah. I mean, I remember the promoter. Now I think about it, you have that little memory now because we actually went to Australia. So we had Australia in it was getting promoted. Hey, Sadistic Intent's going to be headlining this festival, Evil Invaders, and then what happened? The promoter, this other guy, got a hold of us from Singapore, and he's like, "Hey, we want Sadistic Intent in Singapore, and what else was it? Thailand, Malaysia." And so anyway, so the promoter, the guy from Singapore, he's like, "Hey, but here's the thing, though. Well, I told him, hey, you got to talk to the other promoter, make sure everything's cool, whatever." They talked, everything worked out, whatever. And then the once we got confirmed, the guy's like, "Hey, I got to tell you something. When you guys come out here, you cannot play." There was like about 3, 4 songs, and he goes, our government. They ask me what I'm doing, who am I bringing, and they don't like your lyrics on these songs, and they're pretty much banned. So you cannot play Ancient Black Earth, for example, is one of them. I think again I forget all the songs, but and I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh yeah, you cannot put on your vertic crosses, and um,
yeah, we could have won
yeah,
anything.
it was like, dude, like you want the fucking rated
You
G
want the
version?
band or what?
Exactly. Like, well, why you invite us for? What the fuck? So we were like a little bit like, well, shit, this kind of trippy, and so I remember we're at the show at the the venue. Finally the day arrives, we're there, and I remember with the promoter we were talking, and these two ladies walk in. They look like a businesswoman, like a suit, kind of like a little like a business suit, kind of little skirt, whatever, and they look like attorneys or some shit. And anyways, the guy's like, "Hey, you see those two ladies?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, they're from the government." I'm like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Yeah, well, they're here to watch that you don't play those songs. they're here to make sure that you guys follow the rules. And then I remember, fuck, I start thinking about it, like, you know what?
I remember the first thing he said, like, no swearing. And the first thing I said was, Zambor, how the fuck you doing? And like that guy's like,
Wow.
oh, that's right. He said not to cuss on stage. The first thing they does. And I just remember thinking, I was kind of like, I don't think these ladies know our music. I bet you for them it all sounds the same. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. We're gonna come out full throttle. We're not gonna fucking, cut out songs. We're gonna do what we do. We came out the whole thing. Fuck it.
I just said, this is for those of you who know, and that was it.
It's like, just don't see the name of the song. Just don't see the name of the song. It's like, fuck it, we'll play it. It's like, Bass like, this one. Da, 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 da. We just went for it. And it was cool. It was a good show. It was packed. And I remember uh but yeah, the people, they seem like, yeah, they're very, like you say, there's lots of rules out there.
They were like totally into it, but they couldn't even move. They were just standing there like, oh, they wanted to get crazy, but they couldn't. It was kind of weird, but
I guess they'll throw them out if they start a pit and shit. I guess it was
probably throw them in prison too. It's
it was kind of strict. It was very strict.
It's considered subversive behavior, is what it is.
Apparently, man.
What do you think? What do you think is the appeal globally for these fans to Sadistic? What do you think it is?
I think the music. Honestly, I think
it has to be the music first.
The music has there's a catchiness there that I think you got to have the right riffs or whatever, the whole package. That's part of it. And then I think maybe maybe the message behind it is people I'm sure the people that were at our show there, I know they're not Bible thumpers, they're fucking enjoying metal, and they had like the fucking demonic tattoos and shit. These guys were metal, they were into it. And I think maybe that oppression, it's like we're sort of like like a little fucking
part of the cult, man.
Yeah, we're like a little escape from that. We're like, we kind of represent freedom, and I think that they kind of lock on, like, yeah, fuck yeah, these guys are like, fuck it. We're like a little bit of like kind of like Judas Priest would say, breaking the law.
I think also what it is the fact that you hit it right on the nose, the oppression, and also we take a lot of freedoms here for granted, where in other parts of the world they don't have the freedoms that we think globally exist. But
right.
I think also is your your music, your image, your integrity, your history is a release for these people. It's to release that oppression that they suffer on a daily basis. And then for them to hear this, legendary death metal underground band that has never, bent from their own morals and their own artistic expression to come to their part of the world. That's got to be rewarding in itself, no?
I think too, even with the shop and stuff, like, we're part of the scene. We're bringing the music to LA. We've been doing it for years, and the people that realize that it's kind of even more a connection, I think. And like for the bands, the people that come and visit the shop, it's like,
yeah, it's like it's not only Sadistic Intent, but we're basically getting lots of metal out. That was when we opened up back in the 90s. Again, metal was not in a good state. It was kind of like going down. I remember seeing Ronnie James Dio at a little club, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm in a fucking little tiny place seeing Dio. Like,
I remember seeing Iron Maiden play at Perkins Palace when they had the replacement singer for
right. Crazy. Yeah, and I remember seeing Judas Priest at the House of Blues. And again, it's a nice club, don't get me wrong, but Judas Priest was like an arena band, And again, metal, I'm like, it was going, pretty on a smaller scale. And if you think about it, those bands are going down, like, fuck, well, bands like us are probably even going further down. It's like our music's like, fuck. So we've always been underground. That's cool. That's what we are. But we wanted to try to keep the scene alive, the metal. We try to keep it alive. And we're like, we're gonna keep metal. Like, when people start saying that bands like Limp Bizkit is metal, like, are you serious? Like, come on, dude. That's where it was like. I remember I was like in a store, like, like 7-Eleven or some shit, like, what I mean, like some one of those stores, and I see these big magazines, and it says the new faces of metal, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit. I'm like, what? Like, fuck, that shit was an insult, dude. It's like, come on, that's not metal. It's like, so we just felt we had to do something. And, besides Sadistic Intent, I think the shop has been a nice, push.
Like Henry said, we're the resistance. So
To quote Dark Throne, right? We're the underground resistance.
Let me ask you this. I'm glad you opened the door to that. It's interesting to me how not only have you been able to maintain your integrity and do what you've been doing for almost 4 decades now, but there are these so-called, I say this respectfully, but I don't mean it, these so-called ahead of the pack, big underground, now successful mainstream death black metal bands that you inspired, that you personally, your band inspired, that have openly come out and said that. Be that as it may, how have you and your brother been able to maintain such sincerity and a psychological grounding where it hasn't gotten to your heads? Whereas in Los Angeles, fuckers that, for those of you that don't know, there's a recording rehearsal studio in the city of Vernon called Francisco Studios. There's bands that never even leave there and they think they're rock stars. You know what I mean? Like, how have you been able to psychologically maintain that sincerity and that humbleness, which is what you and your brother are?
You know what, man? Honestly, I mean,
one thing too, like you treat people how you want to be treated, and I think that goes a long way.
yeah, I think I just an example, like, for example, when I met Ronnie James Dio, and that guy was fucking super cool. And like you said, I don't want to name names, but sometimes you meet somebody from a death or black metal band,
Right?
and they're like fucking like, are you
Sure,
fucking
Nick.
serious, dude? Like, you know what I mean? You're like, dude,
Like, dude, I'm from
kind of
Sedeno. I'll clock you in the mouth.
it's like, yeah, it's kind of like funny actually. Like, are you serious, dude? It's fucking, yeah,
it makes me laugh.
yeah, it's yeah, dude.
I
So
would
no,
love I would love to mention names, but we're not because you guys are very high value, high classy people. But how do you feel when you run into these like death black metal artists that are successful?
yeah.
I mean, yet when they meet you, they're your fans and they're no longer acting all rock starred out. They're like being fucking little kids with you guys. How does that feel?
No, it's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I mean, like, just give you an example. I remember the singer from Ghost. He was in a badass death metal band. By the way, a lot of people don't know that sometimes.
They don't.
Uh, the
They
guy,
don't know.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. They had a legitimate, death metal band called Repugnant, and they used to write to us back in when they were, starting out, and they were like, "Hey, we like Sadistic Intent," and we got these letters, and I remember Bay wrote back to them, "Hey, what's up?" And we met the guy in Germany, really cool guy. And honestly, I'll tell you the truth, I didn't even know he was in the band. I had no idea who he was, But we were cool with the guy. I thought he was on. I'll tell you the truth. I thought he was one of the stagehands. I thought he was just a helper because he was like, we just already arrived backstage, and it was like a tent. There's like guitar cables and all this shit. And I remember he was wrapping up cables, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are Sadistic Intent?" We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" We shook hands. "Hey, what's up, dude?" And we started talking. And, we had a little conversation, whatever. And the guy was really cool. And then later on, we see him on stage. Like, "Hey, what the fuck? Hey, it's the guy for the band. We need to know." And then when we got back home, that's when we found out the connection to Ghost. We're like, "What the fuck? No way!" Yeah. So that guy was cool, and he wasn't like acting like, "Oh, I'm fucking too cool to talk to you." Real cool guy. Real cool guy. We met. Fortunately, most of our experiences have been, cool. Been good experiences.
Sometimes it's even a surprise. Like I don't even think these guys even know about you, but they're like into it. It's like wow, it's
Right on.
cool.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, there's some pretty bands that we respect as well, or like, fuck, you guys are fucking bad. And then when they let you know that they like your band, oh fuck, really, fucking, that's cool, fuck.
See, that's even better.
Yeah, so yeah, that's great. I mean, it's nice to have that. I mean, over the years, there's been some pretty well known musicians who were cool with us and let us know if they enjoy our music. I remember Michael Amat from Carnage. Then he joined Carcass, and then he left and made his own band, Arch Enemy. And I remember at least back then. I don't know about now. I haven't talked to the dude in years, but he liked our band. I remember Chris Reifert, the drummer of Death. The first album. Then he did Autopsy, and he was into our band. At least again back in the day. The guys from Nihilist, which became Entombed. The Entombed guys. I remember, they liked our band, and again, keep on going. There's
This goes up.
yeah, it goes on, and so this is really some really killer, bands that we like, and again, sometimes you didn't really expect that they like you. Like, I'll give you another example. Dima Borgir, you know, which is like a different style, from us, right? They're more like symphonic and keyboards and all that stuff. But I remember we went to go see him play in Hollywood, and Silanos, the guitar player, comes out with a Sadistic Intent long sleeve. We're like, what the fuck? He's wearing our shirt. So, that was, again, one of those surprises that it's trippy. It's cool.
Or even underground bands like are all, you know what I mean? And,
oh yeah.
with teen and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's also like the underground fucking bands like Bay says that are yeah. So it's nice to have pretty much like Bay said, Urban Hall's a killer fucking black metal band. To see the dude with our shirt on, like fuck yeah, it's fucking or the Watain guys, yeah, just and sometimes you even got bands like fucking like that are underground, like Hell Militia, right? Killer fucking band from France. Hell Militia is that dude Seb, always a cool fucking dude. We've had our share of beers. You know, Again, I mean, just it's worldwide. You meet people, different countries, different bands, different, the fans, whatever. But yeah, it's been you know some cool experiences out there.
Oh, right on, man. I'm glad. Let's mention this. You've been playing globally all over, but you're going to be playing in Los Angeles, actually in Orange County.
Yeah.
October 15th, you're going to be headlining the LA Gates of Metal Festival. On that, October 15th is the second day, which is Sunday.
Yeah.
That is going to be the only show you are playing for the end of the year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
That's
playing
pretty
this?
much.
How do you feel about
Yeah.
playing this?
Yeah, we got invited to do the show, and we haven't done LA. It's about 4 years now. It's been about 4 years. And we like the idea of an outdoor metal fest. That's kind of rare for Los Angeles. It's usually
Yeah, very rare.
indoors, right? It's usually the 1720 or some shit, or whatever indoor.
Or something.
Yeah, it's been, LA's been a little tough with the venues. A lot of them shut down over the years, so there's not a whole lot of choices sometimes. But this is it's a nice place, outdoor amphitheater, and we got invited, and we're like, yeah, it's been a while for LA, and we're hoping that LA will step up. We want to end on a good note this year. It's gonna be unless something super fucking badass comes up like last minute, this looks to be the last show of the year for us. Yeah. We're actually trying to work on new songs. We got new material, so that's why we didn't want to do that many shows this year. We got invited to do more shows, but honestly, it's just like when we do shows, of course we enjoy doing it, but it takes away from your focus on new stuff. So again, that's what happens over the years. We're like, hey, we're getting invited to play here, getting invited to play there. Let's go tour here, tour there, and then it's like, well, looks like the new shit's kind of put in the back burner again, and what I mean, your new stuff just becomes kind of like on the sidelines. And the truth is, I mean, we all have jobs. I mean,
We don't practice like every day.
I mean,
so it's like it's spaced out.
I mean, we all have our outside of Sadistic Intent. You got your busy schedules or whatever. Everybody has their own life going on, and it's like you know what I mean? We're not making a living off the band. I mean, if we were Metallica or something, we this is your job. Just play your guitar every day, whatever. That's cool, great. You know, hey, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. Again, good for Metallica, right? But you know, again, the reality is just that we don't have that much time to you know, rehearse and work on the stuff. So it just, we have our little moments of like, hey, let's try to make, you know, new material, and little by little, it's just, we've been working on it. And honestly, I'm really proud of our new music. It's like, I wish I could just snap my fingers and I'd say we're done. But
Let's talk about that. Where is this new Sadistic Intent music? Will it be in the same direction that you've been moving in? Will it still have the
oh yeah,
DNA of Sadistic Intent? Talk to me about the new music.
oh man, it's
I think it's like Sadistic Intent on another levels.
it's like I think it's like, you know, we did a little bit of a curveball with when we did the Reawakening Horror Thoughts. I know some people, you know, like, hey, that's different, and it was different. Honestly, that record was, it was a different, it was its own little unique thing. And again, I have no regrets. I'm glad we did it. You know, it's a cool record, I think, but it was not really a new Sadistic Intent record. You know what I mean? It was not really written that way. The ones we did a split with our friends, old friends from Holland called Pentacle. We did a split with those guys, and that was more representative of what, you know what I mean, what the band we are. Um, and we have again, these new songs are just to me, it's a continuation of where we left off with Ancient Black Earth, just continuing. They're we're not, you know, we're not turning to a different style. It's still Sadistic Intent.
It's gonna
It's
be
still,
it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna have all the elements
yeah,
that we did.
yeah, pretty much has the you know, the what we do. We're not gonna, you know, turn a whole different style. We're making a U-turn. We're not, you know, no. It's fucking. Oh man, I'm pretty excited about it. Honestly, it's because it's like, fuck. I wish I could just, like I said, I could just like, that's it. We're done. That's it. It's fucking ready. But you know,
Have you gone into the studio and recorded yet?
no, we just been rehearsing. That's why this year's been like not that many shows. It's just been like, you know, hey, you know, you play the songs, and then, you know, sometimes honestly, like you know, you give it time, and then something will be like, you know what, there's something missing, something's wrong, and then something pops in your brain, like, oh fuck, let's try this. Like, oh fuck, that was it. Oh shit, now it makes, fuck. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you're not sure, something's not quite right. It's like, yeah, it's a good song, but fuck, I don't know, something about it's bugging me, and I don't know what the fuck it is. And then it just kind of one day, like, oh, we have to flip the riffs or whatever, you know, whatever it is, you know, and it just happens. Like, oh shit,
It's like a puzzle, and it's almost completed now and stuff.
yeah, we're definitely getting closer. I mean, we don't want to say too much about it because then people are be like, "Oh, when's it coming out? January?" Like, nah. I mean, we're definitely getting closer.
The
Because
music's pretty much almost done. We gotta come
yeah,
out words, maybe change a couple of things here and there, but it's pretty much, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah. I
Nice.
mean, you know,
Your
yeah.
fan,
I mean, the
your
truth is, I
fans
mean,
are your fans are accustomed to you know, they get excited, but they're accustomed to the timeline that it takes you to release new stuff. So the fact that you're
yeah.
working on it and that you're going to be recording it hopefully soon is
Well, you know,
exciting.
the funny thing is, Jimmy, is that we've actually met some fans that like that we didn't put out a record. You know, it's kind of funny, but they you know, they've told us like, that's what we, they're like, don't record a record, fuck, don't do it. You know, we're like, okay, yeah, because like I guess they you know, some of them again, you know, I remember, you know, they told me that that we're sort of like, I don't know, like a fucking, like we don't give a fuck, we're breaking the rules, and yeah, we have like a fucking, like a fuck you attitude, we don't care, and they like that about us, and we're like, well, I mean, it's sort of by accident that happened. But
at that angle and stuff.
yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, I don't know, it is what it is, right? It's just the way things turned out.
Kill the mystery.
Yeah. No, but you know, honestly, I think it's important that we do a record, because I think these songs are too fucking good. Just just to like, oh, we didn't do the record. I mean, there's gonna be more music of Sadistic Intent, and it's gonna be killer. I mean, I really feel strong about, you know, this. Honestly, if we do this record and the band breaks up after that, I'll be like, fuck yeah, we captured it. But if we break up and then the fucking nothing happened, we're like, fuck, that'll be a bummer for me, you know. So I think it's something we have to do before the inevitable end, you know.
Are you planning on playing any of these new songs at your LA Gates of Metal headlining?
Uh you know what? Honestly, we're not gonna be playing new stuff because we've been bootlegged over and over and over. It's like
you can't play anything
I'm
new.
glad you finally learned the lesson on that. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you are heavily bootlegged.
yeah, yeah, if we play the new stuff, there's gonna be somebody out there being a weasel, being a weasel, and it's kind of fucked up because look, it's like I can say it. It's look, one thing is to bootleg a shirt, bootleg a fucking patch, whatever. That's it is what it is, whatever. But when they take your music, that feels a little more personal to me. You know what I mean? Because that's like
it is.
it feels more
theft.
like
It's artistic theft, is what it is.
Yeah, because you feel more violated. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, they fucking put out some live recording that sounds like shit. You know what I mean? It's all fucked up. Oh, I got my fucking, whatever, my cell phone, and it's gonna be on vinyl. It's you know what I mean? It's like, come on, dude, are you serious? It's like
Did you ever find out who did that, by the way? Did you ever find out who did that? The last bootleg record that you guys were
we probably could have if we wanted to, but what are you gonna do? It's kind of weird.
Well, I think for now the solution.
You hire lawyers. What you do? You hire Jeff Vogel. You unleash him.
Well, we're not gonna play new shit. I mean, we kind of learned our lesson. Don't play new songs. Yeah, we want to be the ones to unveil it. You know what I mean? Not some fucking random fucker like, oh, look, I got this fucking shitty recording. Here goes vinyl, $50. It's like, nah, dude. That ain't gonna happen.
And honestly, I think it's great that you guys are finally have been taking the steps to control your content, your art, your product, because for many decades it was being bootlegged everywhere. I mean, you mentioned the shirts and all that. That kind of comes with the territory, so to speak. And in a way, it does help promote the band. I mean, but when it comes to your music and making it into a product to sell to your fans, and it's like not even worth listening to, it's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like the bootleg shirts don't bother me that much, honestly. It doesn't. Let me give you an example. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's not on the same level. Okay, again, let me give you an example. The first time we went to Mexico, we went to Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, and we went out there not knowing much about the scene out there at all. So we're like, what the fuck? They're flying us out here. We're tripping out. And we get to the venues and stuff. We were playing to over 1,000 people. We're like, what the fuck? We had a shitload of people, and I'm seeing like Sadistic Intent merch. Like, what the fuck? I go, I never seen that shirt. But you know what? Honestly, like again, we went to a store and I see Sadistic Intent merchandise. They had like bootleg stuff. It didn't bother me, dude. Honestly, I looked at it like, you know what? Maybe this is why there's 1,000 people showing up.
Yeah,
because it's like somehow it was like promotion. So I wasn't like, oh man, I'm gonna get my lawyers after you. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. But again, touching your music to me, that's more personal.
Yeah, it's a violation.
It's like, you know what I mean? That feels more like when we're doing a mix. It's it's challenging. You know what I mean? You're listening to everything, and then you fix one thing, and something else kind of goes down. Like, oh shit, I fixed this, but now that got buried in the mix, and it's like this balance, and it's a little again. It's more bothers you way more
because it's an emotional violation. It's an artistic violation. It's a violation. Period. I mean,
it's
more intimate when you're creating it.
Like with these bootleggers, look, as long as they don't show up to your gig and sit up next to you, you know what I mean? You're right there selling official merch and they're right there next to you. Hey, I'm fucking half price. Like, dude, what the fuck? Come on. Then it's like, dude, you're snappy now.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's kind of our attitude towards it,
You get these bootleggers that don't know shit about the band. They have the wrong pictures and everything's all fucked up. Like, they're just doing it to make money. But then there's the ones that it's more like a tribute and like they're doing it because like they're into it. That's like a little bit different too.
Yeah.
But at least back in the old days, you used to get copies of it, but nowadays they don't send you anything.
Well, listen, man. I think in one way or another, it's praise and a tribute, and another way it's theft. It just depends on how you look at it. Okay, Sadistic Intent. You're going to be playing Los Angeles or Southern California, Orange County to be exact. The Alley Gates of Metal. That's October 15th. You guys are selling tickets for that at your store?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we got tickets for single day tickets or both day tickets. We have them here at the shop.
And
yeah. We'll try to make
that
it.
is Dark Realm Records, which in this day and age is a whole other monumental effect, monumental thing that you've done is to keep a record store open.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In
I
this
mean,
day,
honestly, I think we're like, if I'm correct, I think it's about almost like 30 years now or some shit. It's like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like time has flown by. No, just this week alone, we literally had people from Germany like come in this week, and people from the East Coast came in, and it's it's cool. It's like something I think people might maybe take it for granted sometimes. Like if you live in LA, it's like, oh yeah, Dark Realm is just there or whatever. But other people that are, what I mean, they come from out of the country, like, fuck, we don't have this kind of shit in our fuck. This is cool. And they just trip out, because it's like a metal shop. And the metalheads do appreciate it. But I'm appreciative to everybody who comes into Dark Realm. Thank you all, you guys. Without the people coming in, we won't be here. Period. Right? It's the way it works.
I got to tell you, I'm actually dreading walking into your store with my nephew, my 11-year-old nephew, because I've been buying him shirts and records, and we've been planning on going to that store, and I know he's gonna fucking kill me with my fucking.
Well, we do the points, so if you have enough, we'll get
okay, well that's cool.
We give back.
Listen,
we try to be fair.
No, I think you guys are great. I think I've said it on the record enough. I think what you guys do is monumentally amazing, and the reason why is, as I mentioned, the integrity, the sincerity, and by all means, being humble. That is such a rare trait that I really, really admire about you guys. I admire artistically how you've never strayed from what you believe in and what you do. And as you yourself mentioned, even throughout all the fads, and one of these days we got to talk about it on the record. All these bands that fell on those trends, and all of a sudden they're back with the spikes and what have you. It's really great to personally and also as a fan have an artist that sticks to their guns and their virtues. And Rick and Bay Cortez, I commend you for that. Dark Realm Records, that right there is an achievement. For those of you in Los Angeles, or for those of you anywhere around the country or the globe, you need to visit this store. It's an amazing store. It's a tribute to a decade when there was record stores, and now they are slowly dwindling. And so for this one to not only exist, but to thrive is great in itself. And Sadistic Intent Live, well, you all know that. You all know. You don't need me to explain it. But for those of you that do not know, Sadistic Intent will be performing October 15th at the LA Gates of Metal. They will be headlining that show, so make sure you get tickets for that. And new music, but we're not going to talk more about that because we're going to wait and let these gentlemen do what they do so they could release it to us all, and then we could all thrive and enjoy it. Rick and Bay, always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy.
I wish you well.
Thanks.
I don't even want to say stay true. You've been true. You've always been true, but stay real. And which is what you guys do very well. I wish you the best, my friend.
And you too, Jimmy. You keep up your keep it going too, man.
Hey, man, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Right on, Jimmy.
Cheers, my friend.
Sisters, the real entities appear, outbreak of evil. Citizen from beyond, visions the ancient record. Be gone, will be destroyed, summon the hordes of beasts. scream, takes blood, there is no one that does. Cause of ages, put it